Benjamin Button Jellyfish, the reversion of age. I can truly live forever. The ocean is the vast area habitat of some of the most mysterious, eccentric, and fascinating creatures on our planet. Among them is a creature that has puzzled many scientists and researchers for decades since it was discovered: the immortal jellyfish. The immortal jellyfish is a hydrozoan that is also known as Turritopsis jellyfish and Benjamin Button jellyfish, a carnivorous species that commonly feed on zooplankton and a jellyfish that can potentially live forever. It was first discovered in the 1880s in the Mediterranean Sea and highlighted as a bizarre enduring organism. Unlike typical jellyfish, which belong to a group of Schistozoa, it is also called the jargon immortal jellyfish because of its remarkable ability to revert back to its juvenile state after reaching maturity, essentially resetting its life cycle. Nowadays, it is generally found living in temperate to tropical waters. Let's take a closer look at the life cycle of the immortal jellyfish. But before we continue, please hit like, share, and subscribe on this channel. The life cycle of the immortal jellyfish starts from the development of fertilized egg to a tiny cigar-shaped planktonic larva called a planula that floats in spirals in the ocean currents. After a few days, it settles into a floor surface and transforms into a polyp, a tube-shaped structure with a mouth at one end and a kind of food at the other, which attaches itself to the surface and begins to grow. When the conditions are right, the polyp eventually develops into a colony of baby jellyfish called a hydroid, which can go up to 35 mm high. This is the stage where the jellyfish can either mature and produce offspring or transform into its juvenile state and start the cycle again. Fully grown, Turritopsis jellyfish's minuscule height is only about 0.18 inches across with a diameter of 0.18 to 0.4 inches, making it smaller compared to a pinky nail. A bright red stomach is visible in the middle of its transparent bell-shaped body, and the edges are lined with only 8 tentacles for young specimens and up to 80 to 90 white tentacles for adult specimens. When this jellyfish reaches maturity, normally for around 18 to 30 days, it reproduces sexually, releasing eggs or sperm into the water. The fertilized eggs develop into tiny larvae that eventually settle into a surface and begin the polyp stage of their life cycle. However, at some point, a reverse development can be triggered by a variety of stressors, including starvation, unfavorable conditions, change in temperature or salinity, physical damage, or age-related deterioration. Turritopsis jellyfish in the immature medusa stage will choose to use its mechanism to live and not to die as its survival mode. The organism will skip the maturation and sexual reproductive stages and leap back into its development process, transforming back into a polyp. In a process that looks remarkably like immortality, the born-again polyp colony eventually buds and releases medusa, which is genetically identical to the injured adult. This reverse development is the result of senescence-related stress. In addition, the mature medusa, instead of dying after releasing its egg or sperm, the jellyfish transforms itself back into its juvenile state, essentially starting its life cycle over again whether or not it will encounter adverse environmental conditions. We will know once the process of this bizarre life cycle, reverse development, begins, as the bell of the jellyfish, the rounder parachute part at the top, bisoglia and tentacles begins to shrink and become more translucent. As a transformation progresses, the jellyfish tentacles retract and its body shape changes from a bell shape to a more cylindrical shape. The next step is that jellyfish cells begins to transdifferentiate, a rare process of cellular mechanism that transforms from their specialized mature state back into a more primitive state. The jellyfish cells then differentiate into different cell types based on the signals they receive from their surroundings. The cells that once made up the jellyfish mature structures, such as its muscles and reproductive organs, break down into individual cells that can be reused. As the transformation continues, the jellyfish body shape becomes more like that of a polyp, which is the juvenile form of a jellyfish. Eventually, the jellyfish fully transformed back into a juvenile polyp with a tiny bell-shaped body and tentacles. From here, the polyp can begin its development into a mature jellyfish again, completing the cycle. This cycle can continue indefinitely as long as the jellyfish aren't killed and get eaten by predators such as larger jellyfish, sea anemones, tuna, shark, swordfish, sea turtles, and penguins. Currently, this immortal jellyfish is found in oceans all over the world and is recently identified as an excellent hitchhiker, particularly well suited to survive long trips on cargo ships by many researchers, which results in the spreading out of the species in various ocean parts. Its unique ability of life's reversal has captured the attention of scientists and researchers who are studying its potential applications in the field of regenerative medicine. The exact mechanisms behind the jellyfish biological immortality is still unknown to the scientific community, but still, scientists hope to get closer to the answers to the many mind-boggling questions and to apply these knowledge to develop therapies for humans and can regenerate damaged or diseased tissues. It is also believed that these fascinating creatures have a double amount of genes that repair and protect DNA to produce more restorative proteins. Also, this can help in an important area of study in stem cell research that could help scientists replace cells that have been damaged by disease. The immortal jellyfish is indeed an awesome creature that has inspired awe and wonders in people for centuries. Its ability to potentially live forever has made it a symbol of resilience and adaptability in the natural world. And as we continue to explore the mysteries of the ocean and the creatures that inhabit it, the immortal jellyfish will undoubtedly remain one of the most intriguing and captivating species of all. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating content. See you next time.